There we are. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us again for this is our third
What
time.
just happened?
What are you doing?
I don't know. Trying to figure out what's going on.
So I'm Laura.
And I'm Chuck, and together we're cruising Lealea. Lealea, you may have surmised already, Lealea is a Hawaiian word, which means happy, carefree, joyful, and more than a little bit crazy, perhaps. But it certainly describes us to a T.
It does. Actually, we have gotten a few questions about Lealea as far as what she is.
We have
okay,
now it's time. Just watching the countdown clock over here. We started already.
You want to talk about Lealea a little bit? Just a little background?
Little background. Well, you know, we've had that boat. I've had that boat since 1990, and working out pretty good so far. No inclination or need to change that I can see.
We get asked that a lot. If
your phone's ringing.
I know.
You're supposed to turn that off.
I should have turned my phone off. I almost didn't make it here. We had an emergency at the clinic, and I'm hoping that's not another one. Sorry, guys. So we want to thank KFSK.
We definitely want to thank KFSK Petersburg for letting us use, once again, the production booth for our little get-together here and their internet bandwidth. And if you're curious about KFSK Petersburg, it's a wonderful little small town regional public radio station. The website is www.kfsk.org, and there's a link in the description, which I think is down below, but it might be off to the side.
Who knows?
But the link is there if you care to visit.
It's a great way to learn about small town Alaska. There's all sorts of cool
you
stuff
don't have to listen to the
town.
radio. You know, the website's got a lot of information on it, and you can listen to the archived radio programs. I did a tribute to B.B. King on Wednesday last.
And you've actually already gotten several comments on it.
Walking around town, people are walking up to me. Well, they often do, but particularly with this program, telling me how much they enjoyed the program. Not much talking. I played 2 3/4 of B.B. King's albums almost completely on the radio program. If you want to, if you're interested in that, you can get the go into the KFSK website, the link in the description there, KFSK, and then over on the right-hand side along the menu bar, there's a links/shows tab. And that brings you to a drop-down menu. When you get down at the bottom, it says volunteer music shows. My show is on Wednesday, so when you get to Wednesday, click Wednesday, and that will bring up another page, and you'll see Street Beat Wednesday, and that's my program this past Wednesday. I'm doing another one this coming Wednesday.
Yep.
Wednesday at 12:30 to 2:30. On kfsk.org. You can listen to the live stream. The live stream? The live stream.
You know what you're playing?
Margaritas? No, the live stream, or you can catch the archive later.
We usually put a link on the logbook as well.
Yeah, and I think I've been doing so much of this music stuff, and I'm having so much fun with it, that I'm going to add a page to our regular website so I can include my playlists and links my comment on the various music that I'm playing. I like to do island music. I do a lot of reggae, a lot of Hawaiian, calypso, all that kind of stuff. Cuban.
Go back to what was out of that. Quick shout out. We've got a couple of shout outs here. One of our friends that we've had following us for a long time, Glenn Diatley. Thanks for helping fund this program. And you had a comment.
Gary Waskerna. A little short on vowels there, Gary. But
so thank you, Gary from Florida. We hope you're visiting with us today. We'd love to hear from you. The chat is enabled, and give us a shout out as to where you're from, and any comments or questions, plunk them in there, and we'll answer them best we can.
Stephen, we switched sides.
We were hoping that
Laura's the one with the hair, and I'm the one with the hat.
And I'm under the brightest part of the light, so we hope that would cut the glare down a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's the whole idea. It's the shiny head that kind of ruins the visual image there.
You had a different hat on today.
I have a different hat. I
had last week.
My good summer hat.
Can I pause that?
From Kent. All right, Kent Fletcher, MV, My Sweet Girl. Nice one.
Ah, forgot you're an hour ahead. Yes, I put a link to the time converter,
time zone converter
on our website on the logbook
Yeah.
for this
No, it
last Google Hangout for folks. My mom was having a little bit of a hard time figuring out the time zones too.
It doesn't help that Alaska has 2 time zones. Yeah, we're Alaska Daylight Time, and over in the Aleutians they have a different time zone. So that's.
Oh, Tom's back. Hey, Tom, thanks for joining us again.
Glad you could make it today, Tom.
And we got Doug Benny from Connecticut.
Yeah, Tom, I hope we're not keeping you away from the marina. So
we were watching a couple of Tom's videos.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, and Tom's been watching some old ones of ours and commenting on them. And I think, Tom, I mentioned you've been making us go back and kind of watch some of our old ones too. It's been kind of fun. We're getting a laugh out of it. So we're going to talk about the fishing derby a little bit. If anybody's into fishing, we just had finished up with the 34th annual salmon derby.
Yes, and the 50.9 pound king salmon caught by Scott
fish.
Stafford did, in fact, he caught it on the second day, and that was the winning fish at 50.9 pounds. And Madison, what's her last name?
Whitethorn.
Madison Whitethorn, the 13-year-old girl, in number 2 place with a 45.8 pound king salmon.
That was a beautiful one too. Had a total of 364 kings caught during the salmon derby this year, which was not a record breaker.
Not a record, season, but it's definitely above mid-pack.
Yeah.
And it's so it promises to be a good season.
So who was it you were talking to last week? They were asking about a place to come fishing. I forget who that was.
That was, I can't remember who it was, but who was that?
So anyway, he had was asking for some recommendations for fishing here locally, and popped him a bunch of great information. So if you're into fishing and chartering and that kind of stuff, this is a wonderful place to come. There's tons of opportunity. You can go full charter, or they'll give you a boat and let you put around by yourself. But awesome place to come fishing out here.
Yep, can't find it right now, and I can't remember his name.
And you just got Williwa number 4 up.
Williwa number 4 got up last Friday, so it was before our last broadcast. But we've gotten a lot of comments on that. Buck's fish. The title of the video is Ghost Camp, because if you haven't seen it yet, Tom and I, on our way down the inside passage with Williwa, stumbled into this abandoned fish camp, and we tried for a year to figure out what the scoop was. We found lots of information on the web, all of it outdated. Nowhere on the internet does it tell you where the place really is. It gives you a location, but trust me, it ain't there. It's nowhere near there.
The only reason why we put the video up.
The only reason we put the video up is that we were confident that you wouldn't find it unless you took a boat and went looking around that area, covering several hundred miles of
and it's pretty obvious no one else has found it either.
Well, and another cruising boat came in there while we were there, and we shared a meal of salmon and talked about the whys and wherefores of it. But we did get some information from another viewer who had watched that video, and he told us what the story was on it. And it was indeed shut down in 2009. The owners just parked it in a out-of-the-way place where Tom and I found it, and walked away from it. It's in pretty bad condition. It isn't going to be reopened because it's sinking in places.
It's too bad.
So
it really is. It was a nice facility.
A lot of people had a lot of fun there, and over 40 years, because 2009 was the 40th anniversary. It opened in '69 and operated until 2009. The last year was just a death blow. The economic landscape has changed there in southwest Canada as regards these fish camps. There's lots of them. There were lots of them there, all independently owned, as was Buck's, but apparently they're being consolidated by bigger operators, and many of them have just been dismantled and abandoned. So anyhow, if you're looking for it in Rivers Inlet, you're not going to find it there. It's not there.
Can't get there from here.
Yeah. So the next video in that series jumps over to Port Hardy, and then we start making our way down the east side of Vancouver Island, down through some of those very interesting narrow passages where the current runs swift and deep.
But you didn't get too much video. You're having a hard time with this next video.
I just did, that whole trip, I just didn't get enough footage and images.
It's hard. It's hard.
Especially this particular segment, because there wasn't much nothing that caught my interest.
Yeah.
To shoot. But there's plenty of excitement going on down there as we make our way down towards Friday Harbor and finally Port Townsend.
What else have we got going? Started packing up Hallie yesterday. We got Dr. Hill came back from his hip surgery, and he is ready to rock. So we started packing Hallie up. Hey, Mindy. Started packing Hallie up, and we're expecting to get her out somewhere around the 12th to the 17th.
Yeah. Hey, Mindy.
Oh,
Mindy just
Mindy.
poked her head in. Hey. Well,
come back.
Come back.
Come say hi.
Say hi.
This is the lady that makes the whole place work.
This is Mindy Anderson.
I'm Mindy from KFSK.
KFSK.
If you're catching shows on the live stream on KFSK Petersburg, catch Mindy's What's for Dinner.
What's for dinner?
On Mondays at 4?
2:40.
2:40.
2:40.
On
All
Monday
about
afternoon.
Food.
Yeah, all about food.
And you do some really good stuff too.
Yeah, I told her I gained 10 pounds just listening to the show.
Yeah. Well, these guys are doing a good job.
Yay!
Thanks, everybody,
Oh, you
for
guys
tuning
rock.
in.
All right.
All right.
Hey,
See you guys.
Thank
see you later,
Mindy.
Mindy.
Have a good day. All right. So again, getting ready to get Hallie out and doing Kaufman Cove, Thorn Bay. I think we're going to be out for probably anywhere from 7 to 10 days, and I'll be trying to take some video of that. Should be pretty busy. We've gotten a lot of question and comments already at the clinic, and if you're interested in following along with that, with Hallie, I'm probably not going to be posting too much on the Cruising Lealea side because it's related, but it's not related. You can go to Waterways Vet Clinic on Facebook or waterwaysvet.com. We'll have some information on there.
I'll have to add those links into the description.
Yeah.
We didn't think to do that.
Yeah, we didn't think to do that.
But, Hallie, that's still cruising. We're still cruising. We're just cruising in a limited area for the time being and exploring areas that, that go beyond soaking up the sun and sucking down the Mai Tais. Hallie is a 50-foot aluminum trawler yacht that has been fitted out to her owner's specifications as a mobile veterinary clinic with an operating theater and all that stuff in it. And it's a very interesting vessel, especially well suited to cruising this area.
Yeah.
And so there's some
Very
interesting
comfortable
experiences on Hallie that we hope to share also. And also the places that she goes. Although, Tom and I stopped at Kaufman Cove too. So that's one look at Kaufman Cove. And then that's on northern Prince of Wales Island, the northeast side of Prince of Wales.
That's a fun place. It's quiet, but
it's quiet.
it's pretty. I don't know. Wouldn't be on my bucket list of places to go, but as far as just
What's
a nice,
happening to
quiet,
the comments? I'm not
interesting
finding
place.
comments here anymore.
Oh, going back up. We got Kent from Ventura Harbor.
I think the Aleutians are more than halfway to Russia.
Go watch the oldies. Yep. And let's see. And Drake's been. I've been watching some.
Drake
Drake's
Paragon.
videos,
You
too.
guys, Drake Paragon's channel, check that out. He's been putting up some really good videos lately too. And he
Yeah.
always does. One of our favorites. You have to watch him. But a couple of real interesting. The one we last watched was in Newport, Rhode Island.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were there for the rendezvous for the big. What were they? The
Albin Cruisers Rendezvous. The also manufactured by Albin Marin in Sweden, the same people that built Lealea. They also built a 25-foot motor cruiser.
We just had one of her cousins in the harbor here last
One
week.
of her cousins cruised by
Yeah.
Petersburg just last week, and we had a
From
chat with
Vancouver, I
him.
think it was Pogo was the name.
Yeah, Pogo was the name of the boat. They're from Vancouver. And so, but anyway, there was a rendezvous of the Albin cruisers, the Northeast Albin cruisers in Newport, Rhode Island. And Laura and I were in the neighborhood, so we stopped by and spent a couple of days
That was fun, crawling
hanging
around
out with those
on
cruisers.
people's boats. Rendezvous are always fun. Are we still going to be able to do the Rendezvous Friday Harbor? We've had some changes.
I don't know. We've had some
trips
changes in
going
plans.
on. I've got a trip to Seattle coming up next month after we get back from Halle. 26th, I'll be flying out to Seattle. If you've been, again, following a little bit, I do plugs for the Petersburg Humane Association, and they have some cats that they're needing to get rid of. Just so happens 2 of my mom's cats just passed away recently, and I'm going to fly 2 of the Petersburg cats to Seattle and relocate. So I'm going to be out of town.
No comment. Don Nash from Somerville, South Carolina. Howdy, y'all.
So we are getting Lealea out this summer.
Yep, I've got a lot of work to do. I've got a lot of work to do on this boat. So there may be some, boat work videos coming up because I've got a lot of things I have to do.
Yeah.
Some of them I haven't the slightest clue how I'm going to accomplish.
Why?
A couple of the engine things that it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
In order to change the engine stop cable, I can't figure out how to get to it without taking the engine out first.
Well, because when they put it in.
Well, the engine that's in there is bigger by quite a lot than the original engine. If the original engine was in there, you could probably get past it to make the change. I'll figure it out. One way or the other.
Boat yoga.
There's always a sawzall.
We got some boat yoga coming up. And a little bit of fiberglassing. Well, actually, a lot of fiberglassing because that floor.
No, that's not that much. There's a.
So you say.
Just a little bit of support under there, and
just a little bit.
Smear a little gum pucky on it.
I have a feeling it's a bigger project than you're planning on.
Don't worry.
Yeah. And we still didn't get the hatch material.
Oh yes, we did.
Did you?
Yes, I picked it up at Hammer and Weekend Hardware.
Oh, you forgot to mention that.
I know. I just did it yesterday.
Oh, cool. So I can get that on this afternoon then.
Or I can do it later.
Okay, swing. That would be nice.
Either way, we've got it now. So
that's the only thing that I'm flat out. If that's not fixed, we're not going anywhere. So if we get that on, then we're. Error.
I bet that's not the last thing on my list. But.
List. Moondust.
Moondust, the 1981 Sabre 34.
Camden, Maine. Very cool.
It's a Sabre 34. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Give us what is a Sabre 34? Give us a quick description.
Isn't there a smaller version of the Sabre, like a 27, 29, something like that? Anyway, I'm not familiar with that boat, but I'm sure it's very nice. Moondust, Camden, Maine. That's not far. I just got back from Vermont.
I was kind of hoping you were going to drive to the East Coast, like to Maine.
I really just didn't get a chance.
Yeah.
I was only actually there for 5 days, and I had a lot of things I had to take care of.
Yeah, you did.
So what are you expecting to have? Good morning from Malaysia.
Holy crow.
Nick Razine.
Wow. Good
I don't know
morning.
why we're surprised that people drop in from the other side of the earth, because it's, we have the technology.
Yeah.
Now people can drop in from anywhere. The big problem is time zones. What time is it in Malaysia?
Well, we could use the calculator
we could use
put on our website. We didn't do a lot of show prep today.
That's right. Built in Maine. That's how I know. The Sabre 28. Yep. Sabre is a beautiful sailboat built in Maine. Yes, indeed. Thanks, Matthew. Matthew Fike for that information about the Sabre 28. That's what I was thinking of. I didn't remember seeing or hearing or knowing about 34. I remembered it as a smaller boat, but yeah. Three Sweet Girl, Catalina 30, brewing beer. And it's about 88 degrees.
It's we've gone the longest period of rain without rain.
Without rain, and I don't know if it's in Petersburg history, but it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. We've been, what, 25 or 26 days at this point without rain?
No, we're almost a whole month. It's almost a whole month.
Something like that.
Yeah, because it was 21 days on the 20th.
Ah.
So yeah, so it's been like almost 30 days.
Yeah, I heard Wrangell's already having some
It's been more
issues
than
with
30
water,
days. It's been
and
20.
we're doing
30,
okay here though. But yeah, it's
yeah,
starting
but if we don't get some rain pretty soon, it's already they're starting to have problems with forest fire danger and things like that. So burn permits are harder to get, I guess. Yeah. I suppose.
And everybody's complaining about how hot it is now. We're used to pretty moderate temperatures. 50 to 60, high 60s is about as warm as it usually gets here, and it's been in the 70s. All the dogs coming through the clinic are having a hard time.
Yeah, Dog Days wants to know our opinion on the trawler market. Don't know much about the trawler market except for locally, and the trawlers here are workboats, not yachts. So, but Great Harbor, I know that boat, but I don't remember if it's a single engine. I think it's probably a single engine at that size. Is that boat type far more expensive to own, operate than a sailboat of similar size? Yeah, trawlers of the same size give you a lot more room, a lot more interior space. But they are more expensive to operate simply because
fuel-wise.
They have bigger engines, and they're heavier. They have bigger engines to drive more weight all the time, where sailboats have smaller engines to drive a lighter weight and a slipperier keel only some of the time. So boat ownership over and above fuel costs, really not that much different between a trawler yacht and a sailboat. And that's anecdotal. I haven't done a study on it, but just talking to other owners and comparing the cost, what we spend and what we know other sailors spend.
Fuel-wise, I get to hear
fuel-wise, you know,
filling up a 500 or 600 gallon tank.
Yeah, 500 or 600 gallon tank at $4.50 a gallon. Yeah, so that kind of thing. For that reason, it's more expensive to operate, but they're a lot more comfortable up here in the high latitudes. Not so much in the tropics, but up here in the high latitudes, there's a substantial advantage to cruising in a trawler.
Well, considering it's raining most of the time, you're able to get out and move around even when it's raining a bit, whereas we usually just kind of
yeah. Well, when that's the thing about up here, with our cruise up here, it rains a lot, especially in southeast because it's a subarctic rainforest. And when you're moving from place to place and it's raining and it's cold, trawlers are much nicer. You can sit inside with a mug of hot chocolate at the salon table and gaze out the window at the scenery going by, and in your jammies and slippers, you know, stocking feet. Sailboat, not so much.
Not so much.
You're either down below where it's warm and dry, or you're out in the cockpit where it's cold and wet. Yeah. But you know, really, the summers here are pretty spectacular. And right now, I don't know what the temperature. There's no temperature thing in this booth, but
it's over 70 today.
Is it over 70?
Yeah.
The high expected high today?
Yeah.
And it's been sunny and blue skies and only a few drips of rain, not even enough to be measurable per
we had
precipitation.
That thunderstorm last week that knocked the power out for a little while.
Yeah, but it didn't really rain.
Out by 10 Mile it did.
Yeah, okay.
They got some rain out there.
Have you watched any of the Gone Sailing videos?
Gone
Sailing videos. They have a nice Niagara 35 and they've just finished their
Gone
second
Sailing.
year.
No, I haven't seen those
Who
guys.
is that? I mean, we might know them by name rather than by the name of the channel.
I'm writing that down.
Gone
Check
Sailing.
that out. There's so many channels starting up now. Every time I go in and do a search and look, it's just astounding how much stuff is out there. Of course,
Yeah.
with the advent of technology and new cameras and all of that stuff, it's so much easier to video now.
That's right. I mean, you can put up good quality videos. You know, actually, you know, we bought that one. Our Handycam died when we were in Hawaii last time.
Yeah.
And we went to Costco and picked up a Sony Bloggy, this little pocket camera, and it shoots, you know, 1920 by 1080 high definition video,
That's
and
a great
takes,
little camera.
it's like 8 megapixel stills or something like that. It's a great little camera. I mean, no, it's not as flexible, but you can produce a quality video with it within its limitations. Of course.
Yeah, that's the thing. Out of all the cameras that we have, every camera has its limitations. Like the Bloggy doesn't do well when it's constantly shifting for focus.
Yeah, you know,
Stay
it's
stationary.
an autofocus.
Yeah.
But I mean, $100 will buy you a camera that'll get you in the game. So, you know, there's no need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on professional grade equipment. It just takes a little more creativity and a little more work to come up with something that looks good on the screen.
Editing.
And now we have, oh, they're Canadian.
Huh.
Ah, well then. Nothing.
What do you have against Canadians?
I mean, it's hardly relevant in the cruising community where people come from. I mean,
Yeah.
Really, among cruisers, it doesn't really matter much. Although Americans sometimes take a little heat from other people.
Sometimes, but sometimes they definitely deserve it too.
Sometimes they definitely deserve
We've met some of those. Downey Circle starting and ending in Lake Huron. Oh,
cool. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Well, if we haven't,
yeah, we'll check. We'll
have to
those
check
guys
that
out and pop in and
I'm interested in the Great Lakes because there's a possibility we might wind up doing at least a pass through of the Great Lakes. I mean, it's a slim possibility, but there is a possibility because
instead of heading,
it's kind of on the way.
Yeah, it's on the way.
It's going to depend on whether we decide to go Great Lakes or Caribbean on our way, or just drive straight across I-10. Boom, you know.
Well, it'd be quicker and easier.
Or I-90, I guess it's I-90.
It would certainly be quicker because at this point, if we try and sail to the East Coast, we're going to be at another 5
years,
10
yeah.
years.
Ain't gonna happen in 2 weeks. We can drive it in 2 weeks. Well,
we could drive it well. No, we'd want to stop and visit folks.
We'd want to stop and visit a lot.
Yeah.
It'd probably take us a year to drive across country.
No, not that long. But we would sure like to. If we do the East Coast trip driving, we would love to stop and visit some friends we've made along the way. I think that would be really cool. So I know Glenn we'll have to meet up with Glenn, certainly. And we've got friends.
And if we stop to visit all of our friends and family along the way, it'll take us 20,000 miles to get across the country. So we'll be going north, south, north, south, north, south. Zigzag course we'd be tacking across the United States. Yeah.
That would be kind of fun.
Well, you know, I've always said I want to do one more road trip across America.
Yeah.
So I know things have changed since the last one I did. That was, let's see, 1980. And that I didn't get all the way across. I only got as far west as Oklahoma.
My only concern with doing
east as Oklahoma.
that area now with the ICW with the anchorage restrictions.
Oh, you mean if we go up the southern route?
Yeah, that are going on in Florida, and we'd love to hear some feedback on that. In the Sailing and Cruising Forum, Wally, I want to say Wally, has been following the anchoring restrictions in Florida pretty closely, and that just kind of puts a kibosh.
Well, you know, anchoring restrictions are a lot of places. Hawaii has locked up some of their anchorages, some of the most popular anchorages. We used to go and anchor off Waikiki and Mamala Bay all the time.
Yeah,
can't do that no more. And I mean, California, I don't know what about anchorages, but I catch things from time to time about San Francisco Bay, trying to clean things up.
Yeah.
And but here in Alaska,
there's no restrictions.
Well, it's a big place and there's not many people, and I think that's the key. That's the whole key, is that there's a big place and there's not many people. There are lots of boats out in the summertime, but early in the season, late in the season, it's mostly fishermen. Middle of the season, there's a lot of these trawler yachts and cruisers that are, it's increasingly popular, and there's more people out doing it. So obviously there's more people coming through here. And here in Petersburg, we get those small cruise ships that hold maybe 100 people.
Yeah.
Not the big ones where they like Ketchikan, Juneau, places like that, Skagway, where they get
the really big ones.
The really, 3,000 or 4,000 people blow into town for a few hours twice a day.
Well, it doubles the population of town for however many hours they're in town.
Well, it depends on where you are. Sitka, I think, Skagway, there's only a handful of people living there.
Yep.
A few hundred at the most, and those big ships hold a few thousand. So, and a lot of the Skagway residents are summer people.
Stephen, Cuba might be.
Cuba may open shortly.
That's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that.
And there's a couple people we know that are kind of staged to go there. They're in the right neighborhood and planning to go and want to go. And I'm looking forward to getting a report from them. I wonder how controlled it's going to be for cruisers. I mean, surely they're not going to let you just go there and ride your bicycle around the island wherever you want to go.
Not at this point. They're still, they still have some.
And it's still illegal for an American citizen, a U.S. citizen, to possess a Cuban cigar.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
No matter where you are.
Not just in the U.S. No matter where you are, if you're a U.S. citizen, you'd be breaking U.S. law if you hold one in your hand. So don't do it. My only objection to Cuban cigars is it's so dang expensive.
Yeah. Which,
since you can only get them on the black market in the U.S., makes sense. But they're also expensive in Canada. And they're not that great, frankly. I mean, they're good, but they're not.
How would you know, Chuck?
I had one once.
Do you want to say that on?
I won't tell you who I got it from in Kona. It was excellent. It was excellent. I will say that.
But it was really expensive.
But, it's not something I'd want to pay $30 a stick for over my $3 a stick punch that I like to smoke. So.
Yeah. Canadians have been going for years. Yeah.
Yeah, because only the U.S. has an embargo and travel restrictions. Anybody else can go to Cuba, I think. I don't think anybody else is restricted from going there except Americans. But there was a reason for that. There was a reason for it. Now, I'm not going to argue the politics, but it didn't happen in a vacuum. So whether it's still valid or not is debatable. But there was a reason for it in the first place. Of course, that was...
You have to be old enough to remember.
Well, let's see. That would have been about 65 years ago that happened.
You have to be old enough to remember that. And I'm not, but I was around then, but...
No, 55 years. I'm sorry, 65, because I remember it. I was going to say 65 years ago. No, I wouldn't have remembered it.
No.
That's right. I'm just, no, 55 years ago is still a long time ago. Yeah, so anyway, Cuba sounds like a great place to go. I love the Cuban music. I did a show. I've done a couple of radio programs devoted to Cuban music. And I especially enjoyed the one I did with Desi Arnaz. I did several tracks I
don't think I missed that show.
Desi Arnaz. You missed it.
I must have.
You must have missed it. Now, Desi was a great musician. Everybody, remembers him as Lucille Ball's straight man, but Desi Arnaz was, an accomplished and renowned and famous even big band leader from the late 40s. So there.
So East Coast, as far as going over there, we didn't get too much. Someone said they were going to send us some information on the East Coast as far as boat yards and some.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out exactly, the logistics of it.
So if you know of a good boat yard on the East Coast that you would recommend, please let us know. We'd love to contact them and get an idea of prices for some of the stuff that we need to get done. Of course, that's pretty much a full gut of the interior.
Yeah, we haven't decided. I kind of like to get the interior stuff done, the structural stuff done before we put the boat on a trailer and take it east. And the paint job, of course, will suffer if we You know, if we load it on a trailer right after we paint it and then
Yeah.
haul it 3,000 miles across the country.
I would hate to pay that kind of money and have it trashed when we get there.
Yeah, really.
But I think the quality of work on the East Coast versus the West Coast, same, or I don't know if I could say better, but
Well, I mean, you know, the West Coast has no monopoly on it. It's just,
Yeah.
but there are centers, and I know in Maine, there's the Wooden Boat Center. Is it the Wooden Boat Center?
in Maine, yeah, that's the one Drake
And then
was-
there's the Wooden Boat Center and School in two separate things: the Wooden Boat School and the Wooden Boat Center in Port Townsend.
Yeah.
And we know that Port Townsend, not that we have a wooden boat, but it's a great place
Well, they've got
to
everything
get
there.
boat work done. And when you have an old boat, it's important that you have people working on it that know what old boats are all about. So I'm thinking that's the way we do it. A lot of it's going to depend on timing. You know, we still have to get our stuff together here, put together some capital in order to accomplish all this stuff. And as long as we're, you know, having fun cruising around Southeast Alaska, we're going to hang out. But we've got this winter, we've committed to staying through this winter, and we'll see where we are at the end of the summer, and that'll decide whether we stay any longer than that. But I'm getting the itch personally.
Yeah, we're getting the urge to move on, I think.
You know, not that I so much want to leave here. It's a really cool place. I really like it. But
We want to go do some more
I want to
exploring.
go do more exploring, and you know, we may keep our residence in Alaska. We've changed our official residence from Hawaii to Alaska, and we may keep it that way. I mean,
Well, you have
tax-wise, there's no reason not to. That's the thing about for those, you know, those of you who are outside the United States. Each state has different tax structures. You know, of course, you have the Internal Revenue Service.
Oh, Glenn! Hey, Glenn! Thanks. I'm so glad you were able to make it today. That's awesome.
Yeah. You know, each state has its own advantages. You would not want to declare residency in California, for example, if you could avoid it, or in Hawaii if you could avoid it. Hawaii is actually not that bad because they don't
Not too
tax
bad.
boats as property, but they do have income tax and a general excise tax for every transaction is taxed. But California, your boat's going to be subject to property tax. You'll be subject to personal income tax, sales tax, tax. And they are very aggressive about coming after it, believe me, whether you actually owe it or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to pay them.
Well, we were there for 6 weeks.
6
When
weeks.
we made it into California, and we happened to be there on January 1st.
Yeah.
And what
So when
was
the
it?
tax collector comes around the marina,
Checks, we got
and it took us a couple of months to get that straightened out. They wanted us to pay California property tax on our boat.
Yeah.
But you know, at least I found someone who was reasonable at the franchise tax board,
actually got it.
or whoever,
That we
whatever
were
the
crazy.
agency is, yeah, who actually understood that we had bought the boat 20 years before in Hawaii and paid taxes on it once already. So
yeah.
let's see, Washington's not a bad state for a residence for a cruiser. And you know, there are other states as well, but basically,
Well,
if
it
you're
was-
traveling around a lot, it's a good idea to have residency in a state that does not charge income tax.
Yeah.
And if you're, you know, I don't have a problem with paying taxes. They have a local sales tax here in Petersburg, 6%. I'm happy to pay that.
Yeah.
So what else?
And for us, it's just way cheaper to be here
Yeah, it's just like-
than in Seattle or California.
Well, as long
or
as
Hawaii or
as long as, you know, now that we've established residency, is we spend 181 days per year in
Here.
Alaska,
yeah.
we're eligible to receive the permanent fund dividend.
Yeah.
So it's way better than a state with an income tax in it,
Yeah.
because they pay you instead.
Yeah.
So Glenn, yeah, the weather is too nice. It's too nice here too.
Yeah, we've been out bopping around all morning. We got up at we were out the boat.
At 6:30 or 7, we
yeah,
were off
6:30.
the boat. Now we
I volunteered to horse sit again over the weekend, so we were off feeding the horses at 7 o'clock this morning.
that's horse sit as opposed to house sit.
Horse sit.
Yeah. And we've got a cat that we need to take care of for a fisherman, or a fishing family, a fishing couple that are taking
Yeah,
their boat out.
3
They're heading down
days
to Wrangell in a
Yeah.
couple of days, and So their house and their cat, we need to take care of that and the horses and the harbor master's pups, her 2 dogs. I still take them out for a walk every day.
And the greenhouse, I've planted
and the greenhouse,
some
Laura
fruits
finagled
and
her way into
some
somebody's
vegetables
greenhouse.
in. So we've got some lettuce and tomatoes and stuff coming up. Yeah, I've kind of signed ourselves up for a lot of stuff this summer.
No state income in Florida.
Really?
Man, how do you live? Oh, I'm just kidding. Don't watch that with me. I do that. That's cool. No state income tax in Florida, which there's a cruisers mailbox service down there in Florida that a lot of cruisers use, partly for that reason. So, what about boat registration down there? I know there's other issues for boaters in Florida, but boat registration do they require registration of recreational vessels, and is there a fee? And do they charge property tax on a recreational vessel?
Yeah, that stuff adds up fast.
If your boat's documented, it used to be free, U.S. Coast Guard documentation. Now it's $26 a year, which is still cheap. But if you're documented, many states make you exempt from state registration altogether. Documentation means you don't have to put the state numbers on your bow. You may have to register anyway and put a sticker on your mast or somewhere. But in Hawaii, they won't register your boat if you're documented. In Washington, they'll tell you you have to, but if you read the law, it says you don't. It says documented vessels are exempt. In Alaska, they go, huh? Why do you want to register your boat for? You're documented.
I still laugh when we were in Hawaii. You ended up getting a ticket that one time.
I got a ticket. I got a ticket for failing to display state registration numbers. So I went to court, and there was 20 people there, maybe 24 boat owners there that had gotten tickets for failure to or improperly displaying state registration numbers or for expired stickers, and they went through it alphabetically, and me being an R, I was towards the end. And by the time I got there, the pattern had been established. I already registered my boat. I paid the fine. Okay, case dismissed. And you go. So I start to walk up with a piece of paper in my hand, and they said, "Oh, you've registered your boat. I'll just cross you off." And I said, "No, I haven't, and I'm not going to."
What?
Well, I had gone down. I figured the easy way to do it: don't go on their schedule, go on my schedule. It's $15 to get a state registration. So I'll just go down there and get a state registration. So I walked into the office and I said, "Hey, I got this ticket. My boat's documented." So, and they just flat said, "No, we don't register documented boats." And I said, "Can I have that in writing?" And I said, "You guys, yeah, it's in the rules somewhere." But so I just went back, and a few days later I had to go to court, and I just told the judge they won't let me because I'm documented. They won't let me do it.
And nobody seemed to really know.
Nobody seemed to really know. The prosecutor is a young guy, grabbed his big, thick book and starts thumbing through it. And the judge looks at him and kind of leans over and says, "Well, And they made a big joke about it, and they sent me on my way. So, but I still had to spend a day going into court and time researching the law because they didn't know what they were doing.
We got Derek, backpacker, just joined from the Bay Area from California. Welcome. And are you heading out on the water again now that winter is ending?
Winter has ended here in Petersburg. Let me tell you, summer's here.
Full force.
And we are, or at least Laura is, on motor vessel Halley, the veterinary vessel. And I'm going to be working getting our boat together. We're going to take it out on some short trips, overnights, maybe a week-long trip. But we really don't know yet exactly what's going on because we don't know what the schedule for Halley is. Halley being the 50-foot trawler that Waterways Veterinary Clinic operates.
Yeah,
so
I think we're going to take Lealea out as kind of a advanced party. I'm hoping
scout ship
to Port Protection. I'd love to go to Port Protection this year.
Yeah, port
Yeah.
protection is cool. And we were there right at the end of the season, just after Labor Day.
Love it there. It's such a cool place.
Like to see what it's like when the season is in full swing. Hope we can
Yeah.
get a spot at the dock. We might have to anchor out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, we're looking forward to doing it a little bit differently this time, as a companion vessel to Halley, or just going in Halley, and maybe we'll just slide off by ourselves and see what we can see in between.
What
But
kind of trouble we can get into.
it's up in the air. We have no specific plans except to get out there and enjoy the summer again.
Yeah. And maybe, I think, Jeff and Suzanne were talking about letting us go out on their fishing boat with them and doing an afternoon, learning how to actually salmon fish for like commercially.
Oh, look what Matthew Fike, for excellent help with your boat. See James Baldwin's Cruising Yacht Services in Brunswick, Georgia. We didn't even think about Georgia.
Huh.
We didn't think about Georgia, but yeah, why not? I spent some time in Georgia.
I've never been to Georgia. I've never been over that way.
Augusta, Georgia, home of James Brown, the King of Soul. And back then it meant something too, let me tell you. See what Brunswick, James has a YouTube channel and a website, atomvoyages.com. Atomvoyages.com. Okay.
Yeah, we'll absolutely check them out. Of course, looking for interior and exterior work. We're probably going to do as much as we can as far as removing all the deck hardware and stripping everything bare.
Yeah, all the grunt work we can handle that ourselves.
Yeah, we can handle all that.
Or Laura can handle it. She likes that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm a little bit more picky.
Detail oriented.
I'm detail oriented. All right, I'll go for that. You can find videos of his work on YouTube. Yeah, thank you, Matthew. We will absolutely check him out and hopefully be able to contact him here.
Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Bet it's nice and warm there. Huh? I'll bet it's nice and warm there. That was that was one of the spots we used to go to back in the day.
Back in the day?
Colorado River on long weekends. Yep.
Party
Time.
After the biking?
Yeah. The only kind of boats you see out there are those,
pontoon.
Ski boats. No, ski boats and pontoon boats, I guess. Yeah. They're fun. Hey there, Southern Cross. All right. That's Tom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Saying hi to Southern Cross.
We didn't get too much show prep in because I had to run off to the clinic for an emergency this morning. So
first thing this morning, of course, we had to jump up and go play with the horses.
Feed the horses and
go feed the horses.
Kind of on the go all morning. We usually have a little bit more kind of written down, but
usually I have time to get 2 or 3 beers in me before we do these.
Which helps.
So I'm a lot more talkative.
But questions, comments, please fling them out there. We'd love to hear from you and love to know where you're from. And San Diego and go sailing over Southern Cross. It's 107 today. Oh my gosh, how are you dealing with that? I hate that kind of weather. That's ugly.
So they say about that, it's a dry heat.
Like Vegas?
Yeah. Well, Tom Strawn, when he came up here, we were talking. He's from San Diego, so he had that old joke. It's a dry heat, and it was like, I don't know. It wasn't 70. It hadn't broke 70 yet when we were getting ready to take off. It was sunny and dry most of the time. It had a little bit of rain, and nobody's bothering to put on rain gear. It's Petersburg. That's not really rain. So we started this joke. Yeah, it rains a lot, but it's a dry rain. It's a dry rain. Mostly people ignore it.
Well, if you're not willing to do something in the rain, here in Petersburg, you'll never get anything done. It's usually pretty much raining almost every day to some extent or another.
And Santiago Lorenz from Germany.
Oh.
Yeah, budget cruising. It's that whole thing about needing tons of money to go cruising is ridiculous. We don't. I mean, depends. We like our comforts, so You know, I enjoy my afternoon pint of beer at Keto's Cave, and you know, we enjoy our comforts. It's as simple as that. So we do spend money that we don't necessarily need to spend. There's a thread that's been going on for a long time on salenet.com discussion forum. Says, I don't, the exact title is like, is cruising on $500 a month? And
We absolutely could.
We could. It would be,
we're almost close to that now anyway.
it's really basic. As long as you're not hanging out in a marina and burning a lot of fuel, you can certainly cruise on $500 a month.
Yeah.
It's shoestring cruising. There are no luxuries, but you can do it. So everything you add to after boat maintenance and groceries, I think you can cover boat maintenance, groceries on a 27-foot boat like ours.
For moorage and
I think 600. So I think 600 a month. You got to put away 100 a month for maintenance in order to do it right. That gives you $1,200 a year for maintenance.
Yeah.
In order to do it right, we haul out every 4th year or so, and we have, you know, so. But in terms of a season of cruising, 3 months, 6 months, or a year of cruising, especially if you're going down into the deep blue.
Well, we've gone, when we take off, we generally don't spend any money when we're out anchoring and bopping around. The only time we spend money is when you hit town.
Yeah, well, it's cruising southeast, you know, 5, 6, 7 days, one anchorage to the next anchorage. You know, you would go to someplace like Baranof Warm Springs where there's a big party going on, but no place to spend money. You know, have a great time, partying with the fishermen, eating the salmon and halibut and crab, and you know, having a good time, sharing what we have.
Yeah.
And oh well, let's go to town. You know, you hit Juneau and it's $30 a day for moorage, and there are the temptations. Hey, I'll run up to the store and get something easy to fix and easy to eat. And, you know, how about some ice cream?
Well, a burger and a beer when you get in. That's our, you know, our favorite is find the best place for a burger and a beer when you hit town.
It's easy to go in and drop $50 just having lunch.
Yeah.
In a port town. So, but yes, it all comes down to 90% of it is the size of your boat.
Yeah.
90% of it is the size of it. Seems to me. I mean, you know, I'm sure there are people out there cruising on a shoestring in 50-footers, but that's a lot of work. It's not only a lot of money; it's a lot of work. So, and the older I get, the less I want to deal with it. To tell you the truth. So, one more reason not to get a new boat, because new boat, new problems.
Well, you're starting from scratch too.
How long will you be? There's 2 questions. How long will you be in Alaska? We don't know. At least until this time next year, because we've already committed to watch Lois's house through the winter, October to April.
Yeah,
she gets back in mid-April. It's her usual thing.
And
so
it's the time of year where you don't really want to be out bopping around.
You don't want to be out bopping around on the water anyway. So at least until then, and will we be going back to Hawaii? No, I don't think we'll go back there at all. I mean, we may fly back there for a funeral or something. One of my friends, or special events. I can foresee a couple of special things that might cause us to fly back for a visit. Yeah,
but as far as cruising back,
but there's just cruising back. No, I mean the voyage itself between here and Hawaii is fine, but the terminus of the voyage. I mean, Hawaii is a place to stop to get groceries and move on. I think is the way I look at Hawaii now. If I was going to go by Hawaii, it would be
certainly judging by the last time we were there with the homeless population and the theft problems.
Well, the crime in Honolulu is bad. Yeah, especially around the marina area there. So
right in the Lealea, we were in a fenced area when the fuel dock was there, but that's no longer there. The yacht clubs aren't too bad, but they're very expensive.
They're expensive.
They're really expensive, and you're not.
And they're crowded. You can almost never get in there.
Yeah, you're not guaranteed. You can do a passage and get there, and you're not guaranteed to find a spot. You pull into the Lealea. When we pulled in, they told us it was a 30-day wait.
30-day wait for a transient slip.
and bye-bye.
Yeah, but we have friends, so I mean, we had friends there. I lived there for 30 years, so we've had friends, and they took care of us. But you can't count on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Southern Cross wants to know. He says he was thinking we could cruise for around 10K a year, easily, easily, unless you smoke and drink a lot. And if you're a 2 6-pack of beer guy per day, or even 1 6-pack of beer per day, it's going to cut into that. And if you smoke cigarettes, forget it. But because those things add up so much. But if you can 10K, you can live pretty high. You can cruise pretty high on a hog in a sub 30-foot boat.
Yeah.
And anchoring out instead of tying up in a marina all the time.
Yeah. You just have to watch your money.
That 10,000 is actually quite generous.
Yeah.
The more you have, of course, the more you can put in reserve, and the more options you have.
But typically, the more you have, the more you tend to spend.
Yeah, you get less careful about going out for lunches and dinners. Here, it's wonderful for us. There are no restaurants that are open at night. Otherwise, we'd be spending a lot more because we love to go out for dinner.
Yeah, but I love cooking too.
Brewing your own alcohol, Tom? Really? That's pretty desperate.
Taken to brewing our own. Oh, what do you drink? Beer or something more interesting?
Wine? Yeah, it's pretty easy actually. Once we got settled down, I have thought I would try my hand at beer and whiskey, and possibly wine. I don't know. I don't have that much interest in wine.
You don't have that much interest in wine. All the bottles of wine we've been through over the years.
I like a good glass of wine.
You're going to say you're not interested in wine?
Not interested enough to make it myself. And really, beer, I don't think I'd want to make it myself either.
Let's see, Southern Cross, no drinking and we'll quit smoking. 39 day.
Yeah, there you go.
Good luck with that. And there was a comment farther up about Annie Hill's book, cruising on a
where was it?
Sailing, this one here from
Annie Hill, sailing on a small income.
That was one of the first books you had me read.
Yeah, one of the very first, and I mean they were hardcore. And key thing about Annie Hill, before you go all Annie Hill on it, remember she talks about investing your savings in government bonds for a 10% annual return. Tells you how long ago that book was written.
Yeah.
However, all of her ideas about saving money are absolutely great and valid.
Yeah.
What to do with the money you save is another issue. It takes constant attention unless you got it under the mattress or something, and that doesn't make much sense. Putting it
in a bank isn't getting you anywhere these days, and
yeah, so
you have to be pretty on it if you have stuff in the market right now, as we're
it's actually one of the problems that we have, because our nest egg, our emergency fund, is invested in, and it's in my IRA, and it's invested, and it requires fairly constant attention because we can't afford to let it grow at 1 or 2%. We need more return than that on that money. So yeah, we have to watch it a lot. And so taking off on a 2 or 3 month cruise out of range of the internet is
at this point
it's not
volatile as the market is.
Yeah.
Right now.
I mean, there are ways to get around it. Of course, you can go to all cash or money market or bonds or something like that, and just settle for little or no return while you're out cruising, so you don't risk the capital.
Yeah, you're thinking totally long term as far as that goes. So,
$15 a month.
The condo $32.65. $15 a month for.
Is that your price or is that the cost?
What are you surviving on $15 a month? And it's
a Mike thing. Yay, he made it. You made it, Mike.
Welcome.
So glad to see you.
And let's see. Dollar is one of the worst places to have your money. Tangibles, silver, things that can be traded. That's where we have been concentrating. The only problem with that is
trading.
Well, no, if you have over 10,000 in.
Well, yeah, traveling.
You have to be careful. You don't carry too much, or else you're
passing through customs. For example, going to Canada. if you have more than $10,000, say you got, let's say you've got gold coins on your boat, or silver coins, how easy it is to go over $10,000, just a handful of coins.
And then you're walking around cash, and next thing you know, inadvertently, you've got maybe 15 or 18,000 in cash floating around.
Yeah.
Well, most people are using more cards these days anyway.
Yeah.
But
Eventually, I imagine you won't need to have much cash. But right now, I think that cruising, you need to have a couple thousand in greenbacks to take care of emergencies. A lot of places we've been, you don't have access to an ATM, or for whatever reason, you don't have access to your bank account, and credit cards are not accepted at every place you go.
Yeah.
Here we found, I mean, there are places here in town where they'll take checks but not credit cards. Here in Petersburg. So.
Well, on your trip to Vermont, there were places that
would not take cash.
So
I ran into places that would not take cash. So, you got to have your resources in different forms. So Tom makes a valid point about if you know the territory, collectibles are okay.
Yeah, but the coin collecting, that's something I
tangible,
enjoy doing.
silver,
you have to really
things
be
that can be
careful what you
traded.
pick
Yeah.
up. It's 2:00.
Is it really?
It is. It's been an hour.
Oh, we've run over
already.
We've run over 20 seconds already.
Holy crow.
I'd like to continue the conversation about financial resources, though, if anybody wants to hang around for a few minutes. You got to be careful about what you carry on your boat. It's they can take it away from you if you have more than they think you ought to have. So
they being Coast Guard.
Being the Homeland Security. It's drug money. You don't have $10,000 or more in cash on your boat, because they'll just take it away from you.
Well, it's just like depositing cash in a bank. If you deposit more than 10,000, it has to be reported.
Yeah, then it's just this weird climate that we live in now. It used to be they would think nothing of coming on your boat. Oh, you've got 10,000 in cash and another 10,000 in gold and a couple of rifles. Hey, no big deal. Let me check that out.
Yeah.
Now, forget it.
Yeah.
You aren't going to be able to do anything like that. So
you have that much cash on board, and you're assumed to be a criminal. It's just ridiculous.
You have to make sure that the money you have in your bank, or that your bank is a solid bank. There's a lot of banks that are on very weak footing right now. It's not a bad idea to have some of your money in a foreign bank account, although every foreign bank reports right back to the IRS, so you're not going to hide it. But there are Canadian banks, for example, that are stronger than any American bank and safer for your money if you just want to keep some small amount of cash in a bank that's very secure. You can still access it from an ATM, that sort of thing. So, and maybe we'll pick that up next time, because I'm starting to get hungry for lunch.
I'm really sensitive to what you're talking about. Because of our business, we regularly have large deposits. The government is really intrusive. Boy, we could go on about that for a while.
Yes, part of the strategy is to keep the flow down below a certain level so that it doesn't attract any attention.
Stay under the radar?
Stay under the radar as much as possible. But, here we are talking about staying under the radar when we're all over the internet. Everything about us is public knowledge. Well, not everything. There are still some secrets there.
Yeah, we don't tell all, but
we don't tell everything. But I try to keep out of sight, out of mind. Just be good citizens, good folks. Don't bother nobody.
Yeah, definitely stay under the radar.
Overdraft the bank for $1 million.
Hide it in the bilge. I hate to tell you that, but that's the first place they're going to look. Homeland Security guys.
They know all the hiding places.
All the hiding places.
The custom guys, they know every hiding place on every kind of boat.
Yep. Let's see. SV Delos moonshining.
Yeah. Well, I suspect it depends on who you get. But if they really start to look, I've seen cord decks ripped open because there might be something hidden in the core of the deck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and they'll rip your boat
if
apart.
they decide there's something there to be found, they'll find
And
it.
it's up to you to put it all back together. They'll just leave all your stuff sitting out on the dock, all torn apart. Unfortunately, it can be kind of ugly. Well,
Whiskey makes good trading material, and I think you can carry, what is it, going across the border to Canada, two bottles per person, or
I don't even know.
2 bottles of hard liquor and 4 bottles of wine. You can carry a pretty good amount of alcohol with you.
Well, pretty good for us. It's not a good
without
supply for some.
I mean, a bottle of whiskey can be really good trading material, especially in some of these fishing ports.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, diversify. A bottle of whiskey, a couple cartons of cigarettes, couple boxes of cigars, the amount that you can get away with per person, and you can have a fair amount of trading
materials.
But nothing works as well as cash when it comes to actually making a transaction. Although we did trade gold coin to a fisherman once.
Yep.
And he was delighted with that.
Yeah, we gave him a tenth for a service.
Yeah, I traded it to him. I traded to him at the spot price, and when he went and looked it up on the internet, the value was at the collector price, which was substantially higher.
Yeah.
Just fine with me, because I still gave it to him for less than what I paid for it.
Yeah. So stay away from the United States. No problem. Isn't that sad?
Or if you're,
oh my gosh, we're at that point. Anyway, that's a long topic.
if you're an American, you're stuck. You can't legally escape the IRS no matter where you go.
Yeah.
So if you're an American citizen, there you are. But you go up and you go down.
And Tom, we've heard cigarettes and 22 shells are good for trade. Good luck finding 22s in some places.
I have some.
But they're not available here.
They're not available. No, you can buy. They'll let you buy 2 boxes at a time of 22 long rifle. That's 50 round. Those are little tiny 50 round boxes.
Yeah.
So they'll let you buy 2 of those at a time here. 2 a week per person is what they allow.
But yeah, there's all sorts of trading material that you can bring along with you, and it comes down to space and weight. I mean, you don't want to stock up too much on 22 shells or.
I know what you mean about bugging out on the boat, Tom. We have been, if we were in a house, we'd be called preppers. But we're not. We're on a boat, and our boat's just ready to cruise.
So we're just called crazy.
So we're just called crazy. Our boat's ready to go pretty much anywhere. Might have to throw a few things overboard if we went to Australia, for example, but we could go anywhere we want to go.
Yeah.
And we can get there, or we can just go out to sea and float around for a year if we want to. Don't think it'll ever come to that, but we're prepared to just take our boat and go someplace if we want to.
Certainly deke out into some of the more remote areas here where there's nobody around.
Yeah. There's no escaping from the government if they're after you, but there's no reason for them to be after us.
Yeah.
The thing is to avoid all the harassment and hassles.
High population areas.
High population areas. Population density is your enemy. High population density will, put you in a hurt. Yeah. It's much better to be on an island somewhere where you know every single soul, or a good portion of them. Anyway.
All right.
U.S. Canadian dual citizen. Is that a Freudian slip, using dual instead of dual? Fighting with yourself, dueling with yourself. And I've been stopped and missed flights. Yeah, I nearly have because of Homeland Security.
You didn't have any problems. You didn't even have to take your shoes off this last time.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I thought you did.
After 8 times of traveling and being told, no, it's okay. You don't need to take your shoes off.
Finally made you take
I put on my lace-up boots because they were easier to wear than to pack, and they made me take them off.
It's a Mike thing. Are you going to pay pros to rebuild the inside of Lealea? As little as possible, but yes.
It depends.
Gonna help out as much as we can. Of course, the varnish work and a lot of the a lot of the work we can do ourselves, but it comes down to the right tools and the right skills. Chuck and I
the main problem is having a good workspace and the tools. If I've got a good shop like the shop I had there on Friday Harbor, what was I making? I made handrails.
Yeah.
I made handrails and a boat hook, and I did our hatch covers. If I have that kind of a shop set up, I can do it myself. But that's what I need, a shop with the tools and the time.
There's some woodworking skills that you just don't have that we're going to
Yeah,
need.
there are both. I mean, there's no substitute for experience and skills and tools, But the basic interior stuff, it's no more complex than high school wood shop.
Yeah.
This stuff I learned in high school wood shop and a little bit of fiberglass work. There's nothing really to it.
So yeah, we're probably going to pay someone to do some work, but we're going to do as much of it ourselves as we can.
The U.S. government is paranoid,
and they're making all of us.
And
paranoid.
well, they should be. Wait, can we go back and edit that out?
Santiago, love your humor. Thanks for your stream and have a good time and be safe. Thank you very much. That is much appreciated. We are constantly amazed at the good people that we've been meeting through the live stream, through our website, through Facebook. There is just so many wonderful folks out there.
I'm always startled, but I really enjoy it when someone walks up and says, "I know you. You're on YouTube." And tries to pronounce the name of our boat. Whatever it is. Yeah. So Lealea. Yeah. Lealea. Whatever.
Lealea.
Lealea is the name of the boat.
Yep.
And it means happy, joyful, carefree, and slightly crazy. That's what it means.
Forgot the gay part. You're leaving the gay part out.
Well, it also means gay, but gay doesn't mean what it used to mean. So how are you going to say that? If I'm in the right mood, I'll just say it means gay. So.
All right. So we should probably call
it quits. It's we're 11 minutes over.
Yeah. Let's mention that there is a little fan funding button up in the corner. I think it's up here. We're trying to raise a little bit of coin for KFSK. They've received some pretty heavy budget cuts in this last.
So we're making contributions to KFSK. Anything that we get over the 24-hour span of Saturday. Today,
Sunday, we're going to donate directly to KFSK.
Till noon tomorrow, we'll donate directly to KFSK Petersburg. Mindy popped in earlier. We're going to be doing, we're helping set them up with their own YouTube channel so that we can do a music broadcast with them, because they can broadcast music on these things. We can do a regular, we can do the radio show.
And actually use the real mics and all the cool stuff in the
We can do the radio program and broadcast the whole thing, music and all. That's not active. We can do the whole thing under KFSK's new YouTube channel. So we'll let you know when that happens. That ought to be a lot of fun. We can bring in some people, some other people, and share some different stuff. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got some cool things in the work. Just want a quick plug for our website. If you haven't been on there yet, please visit cruisinglealea.com. If you haven't been there, pop into the captain's notebook. Chuck's got some great articles in there. And our cruising philosophy, if you're curious about that, he's laid it out pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, we have.
First Mate's Journal, I've written the daily logs of our pretty much all of our voyages. I just don't have the Pacific Coast one written because I'm not quite sure where to start and where to end on that one.
There's a tremendous amount of material on that website. We've been collecting information and ideas on that website for the last 8 years almost. And so there's a tremendous amount of stuff there. We promise we're going to fix it and make it more mobile friendly.
All it takes is time. I'm working on it.
We don't know how to do it, but it looks like a lot of work to us. Yeah. So we're going to work on it.
Tom, I'll be PMing you here. I've got another cruiser, Sailing Maudie. Brenda, we're chatting with her, and she's giving us a contact name of someone that's going to be able to help with the website. But if anybody out there we're at the point, there's just so much stuff and we just don't have the time and the knowledge at this point. We've gotten it all up there, but we need to convert it over to WordPress.
Yeah.
To make it mobile app friendly and all that stuff.
We're going to lose we already have lost our rankings in Google search.
Yeah,
because their new algorithm favors mobile friendly. And
so
we're not.
We're working on it. Of course, the logbook, you can follow along. We do fairly regularly posts at least once a week, if not 2 or 3, depending on what's going on. And you can also follow us on Facebook on the Cruising Lealea.
Yeah. Hey, it's 15 after, or 14.
And we're going to go get lunch at Keto's. I'm going to go get Chuck
I'm thirsty. It's time for lunch.
So thank you, everyone, for popping in, taking Sunday afternoon off when the sun is shining and coming and join us in the KFSK studio. And
Tom says, I'm here. I have you set up already. We'll get in touch with you, Tom.
Yeah, we'll be in touch, Tom. All right. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Aloha no, kako, ahui ho. Until we meet again. Chuck and Laura Rose, Cruising Lealea. Yep.
Signing off.
More than a little bit crazy, perhaps. Malama pono. Take care.
Bye-bye, guys.